Well, the mission of the Data for Good program at Meta is to create privacy-preserving data sets and to share them largely in an open source format so we can empower the work of humanitarian organizations, governments, nonprofits, and civil society to do their work better. We've done a ton of work in the natural disaster space. We do a lot of work in public health research, and most notably, we're also a huge contributor to open source climate research, which is part of the reason I'm here today to talk about our partnership with WRI to use AI and data to better understand reforestation efforts around the world. Meta started with a corporate problem, actually. We have net zero targets as a company that are very hard to meet unless we heavily invest in what are called carbon offset programs. And in many cases, these include things like tree planting and reforestation around the world. The issue is, of course, that the monitoring and transparency of carbon offset programs worldwide is actually really tough. It's very hard to know whether or not trees that you paid to be planted are accurately planted and whether or not they're growing at a rate you intended. And so Meta, in this case, deployed the power of artificial intelligence on satellite imagery to now be able to predict not only the existence of every tree on Earth, but the height of every tree on Earth, which WRI is now using as a huge baseline data set to monitor the impact of its investments in Terra Fund, which has provided funding to nearly 200 organizations in Africa working to plant 29 million trees. And they're going to use this data set to be able to figure out whether or not the organizations they gave money to are delivering on their goals and to provide training to those who are falling behind.